Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here and welcome to another video. And in today's video we're going to do something completely different, something we've never done on this channel, and we're going to combine both fitness and wrestling to create a Natty or Not video where we're going to take a look at 25 WWE superstars and judge whether we think they're on steroids or not when it comes to their physique. Now, why, you might ask? Now, those of you who watch this channel, who are subscribed to this channel, will of course know me as the Wrestling Wizard, a wrestling content creator. However, there's another side of me that I haven't shared on this channel. And I'm actually a personal trainer as well. I've worked in the fitness industry for over 10 years and have worked with hundreds of clients. So when it comes to all things fitness, I like to think I know my stuff. Fitness and wrestling combined have been huge anchors in helping me with my mental health through the years. I literally couldn't live without one or the other. Now, this video has taken inspiration from the awesome content creators in Greg Douchet and Derek from More Plates, More Dates. Some of the most knowledgeable guys in the industry. And what they tend to do in their videos is pick out celebrities, not always celebrities, but influencers from all around the world, and judge whether they believe their physique is naturally attainable, or enhanced by PEDs, steroids, etc, etc. So we're going to do the same with the WWE superstars. Now, for me personally, having trained really hard through the years, I'm like 6 foot, 200 pounds, and I honestly feel I couldn't push my physique much further than that without getting on performance enhancing drugs, which I have no desire to do. I've never taken steroids, so I don't know what it feels like, but generally I feel I'm a good judge when it comes to looking at physiques and working out whether they're suspiciously too impressive to be natural. Now, before we get into the juicy stuff, as always, it'd be very much appreciated if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. So let's take a look at 25 WWE wrestlers and whether they are natty or not. So let's kick things off with the top dog in WWE, Roman Reigns, the head of the table, the tribal chief. Is he natty or not? And again, this is just my personal opinion. Now, I think back in the day when he was sort of going through his American football days, I guarantee you he jumped on something back then. But now I honestly believe at 6'3", 260 pounds, he's just a natural Samoan monster. Honestly, I believe Roman Reigns is natty. He's had quite a change in his physique over the last few years, certainly up until his recent gimmick, the Tribal Chief moniker. And he looks like $1 million bucks. He's athletic, he's powerful, he's relatively lean. And to be honest, I think this type of physique is sustainable naturally. Just on the border though, I would say. Now, we can't talk about Roman Reigns without talking about Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, my childhood WWF hero. But obviously this is a foregone conclusion, right? There's no way on God's green earth that The Rock is natural now. He is juiced to the absolute gills. Back in his WWF days early on, you know, he looked relatively natural. I mean, he is like 6'5", 275 pounds, but now in his 50s, he's found a way to look double the size, doubly as jacked, absolutely ripped to shreds. I don't believe The Rock is natural. Neither do I believe anyone on this planet believes Rock is natural. So we've started off with one that's natural and one that isn't natural. And I'm going to go for another superstar that I believe is natural, and that is Judgment Day member Finn Balor. At just under 200 pounds, at 5'11", he's absolutely diced to shreds, but I honestly believe it's natural. Genetically, he's obviously very gifted, he's in proportion, but I honestly think this is down to a really strict diet and a really strict training regime, and I honestly believe Finn Balor has the best natural rig in WWE. Now, moving on to WWE's current red hot act, the megastar LA Knight. Now, being honest, this was actually quite a tough one to decide upon, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm actually going to go for the natty verdict. Although an argument could be made against this. This is a tough one to judge. He is like 230 pounds plus, at 6'1", built like an absolute truck. But I have seen and heard him talk about his training routine, and it does seem pretty sound. And his nutrition is obviously on point. And if he has pretty good genetics, which I believe he has, he's in proportion and all of that, he could well be Natty. So I'm going with Natty, although I'm slightly skeptical about it. Next up, Austin Theory, the young gun, just in his mid-20s, and claims to have trained for over 10 years. And to be fair, it shows. He's got one of the best physiques in WWE. And I truly believe that Austin Theory is natural. He has got a great all-round physique. He's extremely athletic, and I honestly believe it's natural. He may have taken on something, jumped on something in the past, but to this present day, I honestly believe that the young sensation is natural. So I'm going with Natty. That moves us on to the almighty Bobby Lashley, an absolute physical specimen, a beast. But do I believe this is Natty? No, I do not. I'm going with not Natty. Yes, he's got the genetics. Yes, he's got the proportions. Yes, he's absolutely stacked. But I don't believe that type of physique is naturally attainable. I really don't. And that's not taking anything away from Lashley. I'm sure he trains hard and his diet is on point. But I truly believe that is naturally unattainable, even with decent genetics. So I'm going with not Natty. Now for our next pick, we're going to shift our attention to the NXT scene. And we're going to take a look at Bron Breakker. Now, he's only 6 foot. He's not massively tall. But looking at that physique, judging by that physique, not even in his mid-20s right now, I don't believe Bron Breakker has always been natural. Now, obviously, WWE are pretty red hot on their testing and everything. But I honestly believe at some point, Bron Breakker has jumped on the roids. And I don't believe that physique is attainable naturally. So I'm actually going with not Natty when it comes to Bron Breakker. And that moves us on to the beast incarnate in Brock Lesnar. And there's no way on God's green earth that Brock Lesnar has been natural throughout his whole entire career. There's no way you develop shoulders like that. Even if you are a genetic freak, there's no way Brock Lesnar is natty or has been natty. So I'm going with a and a not natty. Moving on to our next pick in Braun Strowman. Now I feel like we're on a bit of a not natty streak, and I've got to be honest with you, I don't believe Braun Strowman is natty, and that's not taking anything away from his incredible transformation. I mean, when you think how he was built back in the Wyatt family days to now, it's an incredible transformation. And yes, his diet is squeaky clean, and yes, he trains like an absolute beast, but I truly believe that hasn't always been natural. So I'm actually going, even to this point, with not natty. I do not believe that physique is achievable naturally. So we move swiftly on to our next pick, and we're going with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Now, I honestly believe Cody Rhodes is natural. I think he has a fantastic physique. When he came back from his pec injury, he looked like $1 million at WrestleMania 39. He adopts like a full body training approach as well, which I really, really like from a training perspective. Absolutely love it. And he clearly is so on point when it comes to his nutrition and diet, so he can perform at his optimal. And I'm going with Natty. To me, he looks like someone that has never been on steroids. Next up, the Ring General in Gunther. Now, Gunther's transformation physically has been incredible. Back in his Walter days, he was a meaty dude. And this arguably could be one of the top WWE body transformations of all time. And I truly believe it's been natural every step of the way. Gunther at 6'4", 250 pounds plus is an absolute natural beast. I'm going with Natty. That is my personal opinion. Now we seem to be on a bit of a natty run now as we move on to our next pick in Damian Priest. Of course, Senior Money in the Bank, Judgment Day member, and I'm actually going with Natty. The dude is physically imposing at like 6'5", built like an absolute truck. I believe it's natural. He doesn't strike me as someone that is on the juice. So I'm going with a natty Damian Priest. That moves us on to the Scottish psychopath. At least I hope he returns to that gimmick. when he turns heel, which I'm sure is going to be very, very soon, in Drew McIntyre. It's 6'5", 260 pounds plus. Do I believe that's all natural? No, I do not. It's a tough one because when you look at his physique, not being the most vascular dude on the roster, you kind of feel like it could be, but I honestly don't believe he is. His transformation from his previous run in WWE until his WWE return was so impressive. And yes, obviously he'd worked his ass off for that, but I just think it was just too much size packed on in such a short window for it to be attainable naturally. And that moves me on to one of my favourite wrestlers of all time in the Viper, Randy Orton. Now, we kind of know the answer to this. Randy Orton has failed several wellness tests back in the past under WWE. So we know clearly that he's been using PEDs in the past. And so I've obviously got to say not Natty, but that's not taking anything away from the Randy Orton physique. He's got one of the best physiques, one of the most athletic performers within WWE. I believe he's natural now, but overall to this point, I know it's been assisted. So I've got to go with not Natty when it comes to Randy Orton. And that moves me on to a superstar who actually back in the day had a feud with Randy Orton, and that is none other than Jinder Mahal, aka Juice Jinder. And for that tagline alone, I've got to go with not Natty. I don't believe Jinder Mahal is natty. I believe through that run, that monster push that he got within WWE when he was the WWE champion, there's no way that physique was naturally attainable. Yes, the dude has got fantastic genetics and trains like an absolute beast, but I do not believe he is natural. So I'm going with not natty. I could be wrong. Who knows? None of these are definite. That moves us on to the you can't see me man in John Cena. Now, I've always been a massive fan of John Cena, but I've never believed he's been natural. Not natty for John Cena. If you go back to his bodybuilding days, he was absolutely juiced to the gills, in my opinion. Like, absolutely jacked. He's carried, what, 250 pounds at 6'1" throughout his entire WWE career, and I'm betting he weighed an extra 20-25 pounds on top of that back in his bodybuilding days. I don't believe John Cena's natural. I really don't. And that moves us on to a controversial pick here in Logan Paul. Now, I honestly believe when Logan Paul initially debuted within WWE, and up until recently, I would say for 100% certainty that Logan Paul is natty. But now, to this present day, I believe, as of late, Logan Paul has jumped on something in preparation for his boxing fight. I honestly believe he's not natural now. He just suddenly ballooned up, but equally at the same time, he's got more vascular, looks absolutely diced, is cut to shreds. So no, at this present stage, right now, I don't believe Logan Paul is natty. So I'm going with not natty. Next up, another one of my favourite superstars of all time in Seth freaking Rollins. There was a time back when he was part of the Authority that I did think, hang on, is he natty? Remember when he held the WWE title and the US title, and he was lean as a bean, like pretty jacked back in the day. So I would question potentially that. But to this present day, again, just giving the benefit of the doubt, I believe Seth Rollins is 100% natural. He's not the biggest dude at 6'1", like 218, 220 odd pounds. So I'm going to say natty when it comes to Seth Rollins. And this next pick, I had to throw it in there. He's not even an active wrestler, albeit part of WWE. Or is he going to be in the future? It remains to be seen. In Vinnie Mac. No way on God's green earth is Vinnie Mac natty. Absolutely juiced to the moon. Back in the day, maybe not so much now, but there's no way in a million years that Vince McMahon is natural. Next up, that moves me on to another nostalgic pick in Sheamus. Another one of my favourite superstars of all time. I love his YouTube channel, Celtic Warrior Workouts, where he works out alongside all the WWE superstars, showcasing their workout routines, etc. Go check it out if you haven't already watched it. And I'm actually going with Natty when it comes to Sheamus. I think he has a great all-round physique. The fact that he's literally the whitest man alive doesn't really sell his physique, but he's really, really built at like 260 pounds. I think he's like 6'4", and he's just a strong, meaty dude who I honestly believe is Natty. Next, we're moving on to the bloodline in Solo Sikoa. And yes, I believe Jimmy and Jay are both Natty, before you ask. But with Solo Sikoa, I also believe he's Natty as well. He's not the leanest dude in the world, but he's just a powerful, natural beast, in my opinion. A future absolute star within WWE. I mean, he's already a star, but he's going to go on to make a stand on his own down the line, I'm sure. Now, we're almost there, I promise. And for our next pick, I'm going with Carmelo Hayes, switching over to NXT, the current, on time of recording this video, NXT champion. And I do believe he has one of the best rigs in WWE. And I do believe he is natural, extremely athletic, a future star on the main roster for sure. A really exciting future ahead for Carmelo Hayes. Now that moves me in nicely to an NXT legend, current Raw superstar in Tommaso Ciampa, who, to be honest, is one of the hardest workers when it comes to the gym. Go and check out his socials. He's always absolutely beasting it in the gym, and I truly believe he is natural. He's obviously got extremely good genetics, but equally trains like a beast, eats like an absolute machine, and I'm going for Tommaso Ciampa as a Natty superstar. And that moves me on to my final pick, which has just randomly ended up on Karrion Kross, who, by the way, I truly believe is natural. At like 6'3", 6'4", he's built like an absolute beast. He trains like a monster, and I'm going for a Natty status here. He knows a lot when it comes to nutrition and training. I've seen him on the Celtic Warrior workouts, and he's a really clever dude, actually. Really studies his craft, and I'm going for Natty. So that's a wrap. 25 WWE wrestlers. Well, actually a few more. What do you think? Natty or not when it comes to these superstars? Do you agree with some of my picks? Do you disagree? Honestly, don't mind it if you disagree. Give me your honest verdict when it comes to these superstars. And after wrapping up this video, I also realised I've missed out one of the best natural physiques, in my opinion, in WWE, in Ricochet. So special mention to him. I believe he's natural. I honestly believe he has such an impressive physique. And if you're not into WWE, I highly recommend you go and check out Ricochet within WWE. He's literally electric. He recently, not so long ago, took on Logan Paul in what was a fire match. But thank you, as always, for watching this video, especially if you've watched it to the end. Again, I just wanted to do something as a one-off on this channel, something new, something dynamic. And as always, it'd be very much appreciated if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new, and we'll catch you in the next one.